Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and a fascinating puzzle today, themed on pi. I didn't save it up for Pi Day because that's in about 5 months. Pi Day is 3/14, i.e. the 14th of March. I suppose there ought to be one in the European nomenclature for 22/7, which is the 22nd of July. But hey, this is November and we're going to feature this puzzle today, and you're just going to have to live with that. Now, it's called Humble Pie, very nice pun. James Kopp is our regular author of excellent medium range difficulty, normally, puzzles. And there is a non-consecutive rule in this. Now, if you like this puzzle, if you like non-consecutive rules, that is what our Miracle Sudoku app is all about. That is one of our 12 apps. It's the one I mention the least for some reason. It just doesn't come to mind. And it was named after the Miracle Sudoku, the famous puzzle. I mean, literally, I can use that word. For 4 or 5 million people have seen the video. The famous puzzle by Mescioğlu, which Simon solved, which got featured on Have I Got News For You? And many other places. And that employed, as well as some other constraints, a non-consecutive rule. And we named our app after it because every puzzle in it featured the non-consecutive rule. It's a really interesting one to work with, but we haven't done one on the channel as far as I can remember for a little while. I'm going to have a go at this today. But do check out our apps. The latest is, of course, A Fog of War, and is brilliant and is available now on all platforms, etc. And they are great. Go to the link under the video. That's my advice. What else have we got? We've got, of course, our merchandise. Look at this wonderful mug, which I may be sipping from today if this is a long puzzle. We've got SVEN'S Sudoku Pad, and we've got Patreon, where there's all sorts of content all the time. Crosswords, connections videos, long Sudoku solves sometimes we don't like to put on the channel. And there's Wordle in a minute. I mean, we've got loads going on. Just engage with us in some way. And even if you don't do that, subscribe to the channel or like us. It won't hurt you, and it'll help us. Anyway, and we are very humble, like Humble Pie by James Kopp, where the following rules apply. Normal Sudoku rules, 1 to 9 goes in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Adjacent cells cannot contain consecutive digits, so we couldn't have a 2 and a 3 in those 2 cells. The numbered arrows outside the grid indicate the sum of the digits on that diagonal path, so those 6 digits will add up to 22. Cells separated by a black dot are in the ratio of 1 to 2. Not all possible black dots are given. Those are the rules, and I will just draw your attention to what's going on in terms of pi. Obviously, in this spiral, you can see we've got its first 10 significant digits, 3.14159265. Those of you who've memorized pi to 100 places will be scoffing at that being known. But also over this side, we've got 22/7, which is the slightly more vulgar approximation of pi. Both of these are approximations, but 22/7 is slightly less close than 3.14159265. But it's very clever of James to have incorporated these, and even the dot as a black dot. I don't think we've seen that in a pi puzzle before, although we've had 2 or 3, including one by Ard, I seem to remember. Anyway, let's have a go. Do give it a try on the link under the video. I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking with a 6 opposite the black dot 3. That has to be right. Oh, and a 7 there. Look at that 1 cell little killer clue. That's very easy. So those are just giveaways. Now we probably have to do a bit of work. I'm not going to start with the 22 clue. So I'm going to start with the non-consecutive rule, I suppose, because there's not much else to go on. Let's look at this central box, which not only has 2 digits in, but has lots of digits looking in. Yes, where does 1 get placed? Not there by Sudoku, and not there because it would be next to 2. Now I'm going to try and place 2, and I can do it. 2 can't be there or there by Sudoku. It can't be there for being next to 1, there for being next to 1, or there for being next to 3. So it's here. So 1, 2, 3 are done. 4, bingo, 4 goes there. Those are ruled out by Sudoku and those by being next to 4. It might get a little tougher now because those low digits have all gone. 6, 7, 8, 9 clearly can't be next to each other in this array. I'm literally, don't tell Simon, I'm pencil marking it. That can't be 9 or 8 because it's next to 9 and the non-consecutive rules apply. They can't be 6 by Sudoku, and this one can't be 7 by non-consecutive. And that might be all that we can do in the central box, which went well, but not perfectly. So let's do a bit more Sudoku. There's a 2 somewhere there. There's a 4 that can't be here, so it's in one of those cells. There's a 1 somewhere in those 3. We might need to come up with chaperoned digits to get going. And I'll explain what that is if we do find any. Okay, there's a 1 in one of these cells. There's a 5 in one of these. I'm not really getting very far. I still don't really want to use the 22 clue because it doesn't seem all that helpful yet. This digit sees 1, 4, 6, 3 and 5, 9. It's not allowed to be a 2 because of the proximity of that 1. So that is 7 or 8. Now that is not allowed to be next to another 7 or 8. Is that any use? No, not really. Well, it makes this digit 2, 5 or 9. Yeah, it's not marvellous. Let's see where else we can find some progress. I mean, the great thing about a non-consecutive puzzle is there's always somewhere else to look. There are things going on. Yeah, where does 6 go in this box? Not there, and not next to 7. That's slightly interesting, maybe not enough. 6, 2, 4. Am I missing? I don't think I'm missing anything in the central box. I think I've pencil marked that one fully. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I was assuming we were going to make progress by looking at instances where we know 2 digits at this point, but I've kind of run out of them. Okay, let's have a quick look at where 3 goes down here. It doesn't go there by Sudoku, and it doesn't go next to the 2, so it's in one of those cells. Similarly, up here, we can confine it to 3 cells. I mean, I don't know, this might be worth... Oh, look, 5 is in the same group of cells by the same rules. It's not allowed to be next to 4. Where's... Okay, 2 is in one of those, and 3 mustn't be next to it. I don't know, this isn't pushing up towards 7, 8, and 9. Maybe I am going to have to look at the 22 diagonal, which is surprising. Let's just colour it. We've got 22, and obviously 5 have already been specified. We need another 17. And the minimum digits in each case are a 2, 3 pair, which leaves another 12 maximum. I don't know. It doesn't feel usable to me at the moment. Oh, look at this one. This is a naked single. Because there were a number of digits there and there, I looked at that. I thought, given that that was sort of 7 digits placed, and this was only 5, I didn't look so hard at this, but actually this can be written in. It can't be 1, 5, 9, 6, 2, or 7 by Sudoku. So we're left with 3, 4, and 8, but 3 and 8 would break the non-consecutive rule in one direction or another. So that is a 4. And every digit we get in a non-consecutive puzzle is potentially interesting. So let's see what we can do with that. This is now 1, 8, or 9. It's not allowed to be 7 because of the 6. I don't know. Okay, I said every digit was helpful, but I'm not sure that this 4 was in the end. Or not immediately. I'm sure it will be. 6, 2. If I could... Okay, let's go back up here where we've got 3 digits. This is 7, 8, or 9 because that's all that's left. And we're nearly forming a quadruple. Is this 7, 8, or 9? It could be 5. In fact, where does 5 go in the box? In one of those cells. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, 2. Oh, no, I was going to say 2 is in one of those 2, but it's just there that it can't be. So 2's in one of those. Well, this non-consecutive rule is not playing quite as nicely with me as I expected, but then this is James Copp, so maybe that is to be expected. 15947. These are from 2683. Just putting in some candidate digits in case they spark a thought. One, 4, 2, 6. This can't be 5 or 7. If that was 3, that would have to be 4, and 5 would be over this side. Okay, what if that was 2, 3? Then we'd have 12 here, which couldn't be 5, 7 or 9, 3. It would have to be 8, 4 in a particular order. It's interesting, actually. Oh, 7 just by Sudoku is in one of those cells. I haven't really been using this sort of given 7 down in the corner. 7 is in one of those cells, and it can't be there because it would be next to 8. That's one of the more interesting features of this kind of Sudoku. Now 8 can't be there because it will definitely be next to 7. And since 7 can't be here either, this is 2, 3 or 6. It can't be 6 actually because it will again be next to 7. So that is 2 or 3. And now this digit, for instance, or this one, this can't be 2 or 3. So there is a 2 or a 3 down here. So this is 6, 7 or 8 if it can't be 2 or 3. Oh, I just want to know whether this is high or low. One of these is 2 or 3 and one of them is 6 or 8. Tricky. But it does, I do sort of feel like we're still making progress in a weird way. So I'm going to keep trying to think if that my 8, 2, 3 there and 8, 4 here didn't get ruled out. Now what if that's not 2 and 3? If 2 is there instead, 3 would have to not be here. It would have to be in one of those. Then these would be at least 5 and 7. Absolute minimum. 12, 16, 17. These would have to be 2 and 3. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay, but this was not... Sorry, just to be clear, I was not saying if that's not 2 and 3. I was saying if this is 2... Okay, so what that gives me is, if that is 2, this has to be 2 as well. Because if that's 2, 3 can't be here. These are 5 and 7. These are 2 and 3. We know the order, that's at 2. Oh, that won't work for a very interesting reason. If 3 was here, sorry, if 2 was here and 3 was here, where could 4 go in this box? Not there by Sudoku and not there because of being next to 3. That's really clever, actually. So, this cannot be 2, because this whole diagonal gets forced and you can't put 4 in this box. That's so peculiar. It's very, very interesting. So that's 2. Now, 3 can't be next to it, but this is my problem. It can still be either on this diagonal or off it. But maybe we've learned something that we can use. No, we probably haven't. It was only about 2 and 3 here, wasn't it? If that was 3, we know this is 8, 4. If this is not 3, then it could be 5. And then we're up to 12, and we need another 10 here. 7, 3 would work. Probably 2, 8 would work, and maybe even 6, 4. In fact, maybe I should just focus on where 4 is. 4 is in one of those cells in this box. If it's not there... Right, first of all, okay, there are 2 possibilities, knowledge bomb. It's either given that it's in those three cells, it's either on the diagonal or it's not. But if it's not on the diagonal, then neither of these cells can be a 3, which I find a little interesting. Okay, let's say 2 is not on this diagonal. So 2 is there. Oh no, now I'm doing a double what if. 2 is off and 4 is off. Okay, what if 4 is on the diagonal? Oh, I get a deduction out of this if 4 is on the diagonal. If 4 is not on the diagonal. So if 4 is 4, 8, 9, 11, these two add up to 11. That one, if 4 was there, this is not allowed to be 1, 5, 9, 4, 6. 2, 3, 7, 8. There are still too many possibilities. Ooh, are there though? I've just noticed this can't be an 8 because of that pencil marking. It would be next to a consecutive digit. So this is now 3, 5, 7 or 9. The only thing I know about those that's interesting is they're all odd. 2, 6, 7 plus an odd number there, somewhere between 10 and 16 as a total. These two add up to somewhere between 6 and 12, but definitely an even number. So they are of the same parity as each other. The only way they could both be odd is by being 7 and 3. That is not possible because 4 would be touching 3. So these two are both even, and I'm changing their colour to blue. That is not a 7. This is a really interesting way of doing this sort of puzzle. I mean, James, what have you come up with? This is either a 4-6 pair, which would have to be in that order, or it's a 2-8 pair, which would have to be in that order. Now, can we falsify one of those? No, hang on. Why am I just trying to make it add up to 10? Because I got absolutely suckered by the fact the only way you could put 2 odd digits there made them add up to 10. Okay, these are 2 even digits and I don't know what they are. And that, but this one can't be 4 or 6 because it's next to 5. So 2 or 8 is right there. And this one can't be next to 2. So I was only one pencil mark out. And in fact, they cannot be 6 and 4. Yes, I was writing a 6 next to a 5. So if I'd been right, that would have all got sorted. So these don't add up to 10 now. Oh no, hang on, 2 and 8 they do possibly do. What possibilities are there between those totals of 6 and 12? 2, 4 is 6, 2, 6 is 8. There seem to be a lot. Oh, okay, here's another way to look at this. How can 7 go here? It mustn't be allowed to touch 6 or 8. So if 7 was there, that's 4 and that's... Oh, look, no, even better. 7 is in one of these two cells by Sudoku now, and that can't be 8. So that's a 2. 4, 6, 7, 9. These two add up to 13. So that's not a 3. And that's interesting because now we can place 3 in box, whatever that is, box 2. Oh, and this is an interesting pattern of 5, 7, 8, 9. Yes. What if you were to put any of 7, 8 or 9 here? It would be touching all of the other digits and it would definitely be touching a consecutive neighbour. So that must be the 5, and now we can complete this diagonal. Isn't that beautiful? What an extraordinary feat. I mean, I think that is incredible. Well done, James. That's the way that works out is just bizarre and peculiar, but it's also going to give us a handle into the rest of the puzzle. 8 can't be next to 7s, so that goes in. We've got 3, which can't be next to 2, 4 can't be next to 3, and that box is finished. Now that can't be 7, there's only 1, no there isn't, there are 2 places for 7 in the central box. How about up here? We've got a pair from 7, 8, 9. This one's not allowed to be 7 for being next to 6. 3, 6, 8, 7. We need a 4 in one of those two cells, and therefore no 5 in those cells. Not quite enough. I'm sure we've had a huge jump forward, and if I could just work out what the rest of the puzzle is going to do, I could get on with it. That's an 8-9 pair, so that's a 1. And this is a 4-7 pair now. That's interesting. That leaves 3, 5, 8, 9 down here. So let's get rid of the pencil marking I'd done before. Now, yeah, I mean, this is interesting. 3's in one of those cells, 5's in one of those cells. 8 and 9 mustn't touch each other. So they're going to have to sit diagonally opposed. And therefore 3 and 5 are going to be diagonally opposed. And, oh look, 7 is looking right at that cell, so we know that can't be 3. There we go, 3 and 5 diagonally opposed, to leave 8 and 9 diagonally opposed. Stop saying the same phrase again and again, Mark. It gets weird. Now, that is a naked 5. It sees 7 of the other digits, and it can't be 9 by the rules. This is not allowed to be 3, so that is 8 or 9. We haven't been using that chaperone rule at all, which I was expecting to come into play. 4, 5, 7. So 6 is in one of those. 3 is in one of those two. Yeah. Sorry, let's hope I edited that out. Otherwise, you've just listened to a fascinating discussion about ladybirds and flies in cold weather. Anyway, now where were we? This one looks like it is naked now. It can't be a 2 by the consecutive rules, so that's a 9. That isn't 1, 2, and 4. That can't be a 1, 2 pair. This can't be 4. Those are the same conclusions. That's annoying. That is 1, 2, or 4. Right, down here, 4, 5, 7. We need to place a 2. Oh, this can't be 9, because it would be next to 8. So 9 is in one of those two cells. Now 8 can't be in the middle of them. That's what we're getting a lot of in this puzzle, but it doesn't necessarily help there. 4 is in one of those two. This row ought to be profitable, surely. That can't be 2, so it's 5, 7, or 8. We've got one of each low and high there. That's not getting it done. Oh, goodness. Right, that can't be 8 because it's right next to what would have to become a 9. 4, 5, 7, 1, 9. This can't be 6 by the rule anymore. Oh, that's interesting. So 6 is definitely in one of those two cells. And now 6 is over here. I thought that would be more interesting than it was. But this digit, can't be 6, is 2, 3, or 8, annoyingly, and it can be 8. Interestingly, that would then become 2, because we learnt earlier one of these is low and one of them is high. 1, 3, 6, 7. That one can't be 3 or 6. It is 1 or 7. This one is 7, 8, or 9. Oh, that almost stops this being a 7. But with a 9 there, it wouldn't quite do that. 4, 1, 7, 3. This one's not allowed to be 2. So this is 5, 6, 8, or 9, but it's not allowed to be 8 or 9 because it'll be next to another one of the same. So that is definitely 5 or 6. Now, for this to be 7, this would definitely run 5, 7, 1. And that works fine. Oh, just one part of a group of candidates away from killing this off. Now, if that was 6, this would be an 8, 9 pair. That would be 7. That would be 6. 5 can't sit here because it would be next to 6. Now 5 is in one of those cells, and now 6 can't sit here. This is the pattern I'm getting again and again in this puzzle. but it's not doing much this time. I haven't actually drawn to this box, even though we've got less pencil marking than in boxes 3 and 9. Maybe that's telling me I should go back to boxes 3 and 9 and figure them out. Right, come on, 7's in one of those cells. This pair looks helpful. Oh, that can't be a 2 anymore. That's just been sitting there glaring at me. Oh, bother. Right, well, at least I did go back to the right boxes this time. That's now 2 in this box, in box 4. One of those is a 2 and can't sit next to 1. Ooh, so the 1 in the column is not quite confined yet. This 2, it's not trying to sit next to 1. Oh, 3 is now in one of those cells and has to be on a diagonal with 4 above. Ah, yeah, and you see, this is a pattern that keeps cropping up, and therefore they couldn't sit next to 2 or 5 in that 2 by 2, but they're not trying to. Oh, we're very close now. 2 is in one of those 3 cells. It can't be in the middle because it would be next to 3, so it's in one of those 2. Now 3 can't be in the middle because it would be next to 2. So 3 is in one of the... No, 3 now has to be here. Yeah, that's the last place left for 3 in the box. Now 3 is in one of these 2. And it's not here, obviously. And it's not... Oh, it's desperately trying to get next to 2, and it's not there because of this 3, so it's there, and it mustn't be next to 2, and I think that is going to unlock quite a lot of this. But then I said that before and I was wrong last time, so let's see if I'm right this time. 8 and 1, they're resolved. That's now an 8, that's 9, that's 7. This one does seem to have done some actual work, which is what we needed. 7 there, 9, 8, 6 and 9 here, and suddenly we're off the races. Now I can finally use my chaperone rule. I've got 3, 7, 8 triple here, but 7 and 8 must not get next to each other. So 3 gets in between to be the chaperone. 7 and 8 there means this can't be 7. That's a 1. I thought I wanted to find where 1, and now I can use the chaperone rule here again. 4, 5, 9 must be separated by 4 and 5 are the naughty pair that must be separated by 1. And here, 1, 6, 2. We've got to put the 6 in the middle, and we can put 2 and 1 outside them. Now, something must be going on. No, I can't fix those at all at the moment. That's very surprising. This row has 1, 4, 6. We know where the 1 goes by Sudoku, and then the non-consecutive sorts the others. That's an 8 in its row. That's been obvious for ages. This is 5, 7, 9, but 5 and 7 can't sit next to 6, and 5 can't indeed sit next to 4. So now I can put in 4, 7 here. That's a 3. Then this can't be 7, and it can't be 9. And now we are finished. 5 and 4. Oh, I've come across here. 9, 8, 2 and 6 in this row. No, not 2 and 6. We've got a 2. Very clearly we've got a 2. 5 and 6. There we go. And this is a 9 to finish. And that is neat. I mean, it's not excessively difficult, but it was really interesting how this 22 diagonal worked itself out using everything we had, the non-consecutive rule and the givens. Lovely puzzle by James, who should never be too humble. He's an absolute master of really entertaining Sudoku. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again soon on the channel. Bye for now.